Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Bhagavad-Gita as it is, chapter 10, 4 and 5. Buddhir Jnanam Asammaha Sama Satya Nanam Satyam Sukham Dukham Bhava Bhavo Vayam Savyam Evacha. Word for word. Buddhi, intelligence. Jnanam, knowledge. Asamoha, freedom from doubt. Sema, forgiveness. Satyam, truthfulness. Dhamma, control the senses. Sama, control the mind. Sukham, happiness. Dukham, distress. Bhava, birth. Abhava, death. Bhayam, fear. Cha, also. Bhayam, fearlessness. Eva, also. Cha, hand. Ahimsa, non-violence. Samatha, equilibrium. Tusta, satisfaction. Tapa, penance. Nanam, charity. Nasam, yasaha, fame. Yasaha, infamy. Bhavanti, come about. Bhava, nature. Bhutanam, of living entities. Mata, for me. Eva, certainly. Pitak, vidaha, variously arranged. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, infamy, all these various qualities of living being are created by me alone. Om Argyanatram Dasya Jana Janasakaya Sakshuyamitam Jena Tasmei Shri Gurve Noha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Danti Swapadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama. So there's qualities I mentioned here are given by Krishna. So I'm going to go through this purport slowly and comment on the different qualities. This verse is not the same as in the 16th chapter, page 656. It gives 26 qualities of a devotee. Fierceness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, and freedom from envy, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, freedom from envy, and from passion for honor. These transcendental qualities of Sanabharta belong to godly men endowed with the divine nature. And we have in Nectar Devotion the 50 qualities. These are the qualities of Krishna. 50 qualities, and the living entity, as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, possesses all these qualities in minute quantity, provided they become pure devotees of the Lord. In other words, all the above transcendental qualities can be present in the devotee in minute quantity, whereas the qualities in fullness are always present in the Supreme. Besides these, there are other transcendental qualities. Persons who are desirous of becoming great devotees, great personalities, must be decorated with the following qualities: truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, perseverance, renunciation, peacefulness, simplicity, control of the senses, equilibrium of the mind, austerity, equality, forbearance, placidity, learning, knowledge, detachment, opulence, chivalry, influence, strength, memory, independence, tactfulness, luster, patience, kind-heartedness, ingenuity, gentility, mannerliness, determination, perfection in all knowledge, proper execution, possession of all objects of enjoyment, gravity, steadiness, faithfulness, fame, respectfulness, and lack of false egotism. Persons who desire to become great souls cannot be without any of the above qualities, so we can know for certain that these qualities are found in Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul. Srila Prabhupada also demonstrated all these qualities, and Shruti Kirti is here. He was Prabhupada's servant for 2 years. He can verify that he saw these qualities in Srila Prabhupada. But these qualities may not be there in an ordinary living entity. But if someone's a pure devotee, then he has all these qualities. So actually, in the material world, if someone's not a devotee, he cannot have any good qualities. If someone may dress himself very nicely and look like a very nice person, but if he's not a devotee, then he's not having any good qualities. Simply a decoration for a dead body. So, someone may be a scientist or a philosopher or whatever. If they don't have the qualities of that are given here and they're given in the Nectar Devotion, then they can't be considered as a devotee, can't be considered a devotee of Krishna. But by taking to Krishna consciousness, one develops these good qualities. And they don't have to be developed separately. They come automatically. People especially when Prabhupada went to New York, 1966, started chanting in Thompson Square Park, and the lowest grade people started coming to join Prabhupada in chanting. They didn't know anything about having godly qualities or about God consciousness. So, but Prabhupada was very patient. He gradually introduced Krishna consciousness. He at first didn't stress the principles in the beginning. In the first initiation, he wrote the principles down on a paper and posted it on the wall or the door. It said no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. So devotees read that, and they didn't. They took initiation, but they weren't following that strictly. But gradually, they did start following strictly, and as a result, they became pure. They came to the mode of goodness. From the mode of passion, ignorance, they came to the mode of goodness. And from the mode of goodness, you can come to pure goodness. And then, if one has in pure goodness, he can have all these qualities. But if one is not a devotee, he can't have good qualities, because his mind he's always interested in the sense gratification, and he's not interested in self-realization. It says in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, foolish living entities who cannot understand how they accept this body or quit their body under the spell of the three modes of nature. One who has eyes of knowledge can see all this. The endeavored transcendentalists can see this all clearly, but those whose minds are not developed and not engaged in self-realization cannot see what's taking place, even though they try to. So this is the scientists, the philosophers, the people, so-called religious people, they can't see what's taking place, even though they try to. They can't understand anything about God or about religion by their own endeavor. So, we'll read this purport. I'm only going to read up to half the page in 452. And so I'll read these other qualities. The different qualities of living entities, be they good or bad, are all created by Krishna, and they are described here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in the proper perspective, and knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter. It's not accepted here as knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. In modern education, there's no knowledge about spirit. It has simply taken care of the material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. So I'm going to speak on 11 qualities. This first one is knowledge, is jnana. And this knowledge means to know the difference between spirit and matter and the controller of both. This is real knowledge. And that Krishna manifests everything. Everything is flowing from Krishna. Chit and Sat Achit. So Chit, Sat Chit Ananda. We are eternally full of knowledge and bliss. And that's our spiritual identity. But when we come in the material world, we're not Chit. We don't have full knowledge. Because they don't teach it. In the school, they don't teach it anywhere, so no one really knows the difference between matter and spirit. But Srila Prabhupada was able to give knowledge to people and get people to surrender and become devotees. So you go to school, universities all over the world, they teach you a lot about a lot of things and nothing about nothing. Nothing that amounts to everything they teach you gives you some knowledge but doesn't amount to anything. Because it just goes in one ear, out the other, and it doesn't really have anything to do with self-realization or the soul. So it cannot be accepted as real knowledge. But Prabhupada called the school, universities, slaughterhouses, because simply teaching people how to perform some kind of mechanical process to get a good job, to make money. They don't teach people about self-realization, about how to get out of the material world. They simply are keeping everyone bound up in the material world. So this is not the real necessity. But Prabhupada, some disciples, Prabhupada disciples, some were going to school, and Prabhupada told them that they should finish their education. And some people, he told that they didn't need to continue going to school. But either way, to get an education may be helpful if you are in a household life. You need a job, so you have to get an education, get a degree to get a job to support the family. But it's not all in all. Real knowledge is there in the Bhagavad-Gita. You don't have to look anywhere else. The perfect knowledge is here. Everything spoken by Krishna to Arjuna. Arjuna wasn't a Vedantist, he wasn't a philosopher, he didn't have a PhD, but he had one quality, that he was Krishna's friend, and he was not envious of Krishna. So Krishna chose to speak to Arjuna, because he was not envious, and he was Krishna's friend, and by the arrangement of Yogamaya, he was put in this situation, seemingly bewildered, whether to fight the battle, etc. or not. So Krishna spoke the Bhagavad-Gita to eliminate Arjuna's doubts and delusion, and he spoke it for the benefit of all human society. So when Krishna Balaram went to school, a Sandipani Muni school, at the age of 11, they learned 64 arts in 64 days. And one day he would teach them one art, and at night time they'd be expert at that art. Then, at the end of their instructions, Sandipani Muni knew that Krishna and Balaram were not ordinary students. So when you get initiated, the Guru gives you Diksha, you're supposed to give Dakshin, or give some money to the spiritual master to repay him for giving for his mercy. It's a token a payment, but it's not the full amount. You can never repay the spiritual master for guiding us and accepting us as a disciple. So the son of Muni consulted his wife and said, well, this Krishna Balaram, they're special boys. They want to give dakshin. What should we ask for? Well, they decided they would ask Krishna Balaram to bring back their dead son, who had been drowned in the ocean. So Krishna Balaram went to the ocean and called the ocean personified and said, you took the son of our spiritual master, can you bring him back? And he said, no, I didn't take him. It was taken by a demon in the form of a conch shell who was on the bottom of the ocean. So Krishna dived down into the bottom of the ocean, killed the demon, took the conch shell, but he didn't find the son. So then Krishna and Balaram went to the abode of Yamaraj, and there they asked Yamaraj to give back the son, and he did so. And so they brought the son back. His Sandipani Muni got his dead son back. So then Sandipani Muni gave him benediction that whatever you speak will always remain fresh and palatable. Krishna didn't need a benediction, but because the Bhagavad-Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago, it's still something that people can relish and enjoy and read and become devotees. One man in Delhi, ordinary man, he was a sinful man, but one day his son-in-law was on the street and devotee sold him a Bhagavad-Gita, the same one, Bhagavad-Gita as it is, and his son-in-law said to his father-in-law that, I'm not going to read this book, you take it. So he took the Bhagavad-Gita and he started reading it, and then he became a devotee. And then his whole family was very upset because he stopped eating meat, he stopped gambling, he stopped having illicit sex, he stopped taking intoxication. So they thought there was something wrong with him. Why he can't be normal like us? He couldn't understand, even though they're Indian people born in India, the land of Dharma, they didn't understand anything about self-realization. So they didn't interfere with him. He would chant his rounds. He had his own room. He could sit and chant his rounds every day. He chanted 32 rounds, reads Baba's books, does everything. They still think he's crazy. But gradually they're starting to appreciate a little bit. But for the most part, they're not interested in Krishna consciousness. So this is the potency of Srila Prabhupada's books. People get a book, they may not read it, they put it on their bookshelf. Someone else sees it, after 10, 20 years, they read it, become devotee. So the books are there. The more books we sell, the more we give out to people, the more people become devotees. I was distributing books in some small town in California, and we were distributing Krishna book, and I knocked on someone's door, and they said, asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted to sell them a Krishna book. They said, we're reading that book every night. So they already had the book and were reading it. So this is the potency of Prabhupada's books. People can become devotees, but just on their own, and then they get some association, then they become full-time devotees. So this is the difference between spirit and matter, knowledge and knowledge and intelligence. So intelligence means that's the first quality. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. And knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. So intelligence means to see things in proper perspective. That means Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tapata chakvadeyam pranarjana natimam eti so arjuna. Krishna says, one who knows my truth about my transcendental activities does not take birth again in this material world. So this is real, how to analyze things by consulting the Guru Shastra Sadhu. Guru speaks what's in the Shastra, the Sadhu speaks what's in the Shastra, the Guru gives the Diksha initiation, and the Sadhu can give Shiksha or further instruction. So these three are our checklist. If you want to understand, or if you want to know whether you're doing the right thing or wrong thing, you can consult with Guru. If you're not satisfied with him, you can consult the Shastra. If you're not satisfied with that, then you can go to another, with his permission, another advanced devotee who may be more advanced than your Guru, and consult with him. This is a way to check whether we're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Because we may not know whether we're doing the right thing or wrong thing. We may not see things in the proper perspective. And knowledge means to understand what is spirit and what is matter. So, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm not this body. And that is the first understanding that everyone should have, that we're not this body. Denosmin yata dehe kumramya bananjara tatadantara praptir diras tatra namuite. From boyhood to youth to old age, this body is changing, but the soul continues after death, continues to another body. So the conditioned soul gives up one body after another. It's like the air carries the aroma. And then he takes on another body, and he gets an eye, ear, nose, tongue, sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. And thus he enjoys a particular type of senses enjoyment. So, according to your body, you get the different sense enjoyment. There's a hog. If you get a hog's body, hogs are very fond of eating stool. If you give a hog halva or stool, he will take the stool. But a human being, we reject that stool. We'd rather take the halva, because our senses are more refined in this body. And this human body is the only body that we have sufficient intelligence to try to practice self-realization or Krishna consciousness. Those people can come inside if they want to. Ahimsa, freedom from doubt and delusion, can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Slowly but surely, he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and with caution. So this is a freedom from doubt and delusion. We may have some doubts about so many things in our philosophy, but it says in the 15th chapter that one who knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one who knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting engages in full devotional service. So, doubts and delusion, tadviri paripatena paripasena sevaya, upideksyanti ke gyanaskinastapa darshanaha. One should approach the spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. He can impart knowledge unto you because he's seen the truth. So the process is that we take guidance from the spiritual master or his representative, and we should make submissive inquiry, not challenging, or not trying to think that I know more than my spiritual master. It's its third offense, the holy name, is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master or consider him an ordinary man. If the spiritual master is an ordinary man, then there's no use in taking initiation from him, because he can't get you out of the material world. He has to be at least practicing Krishna consciousness, be advanced devotee in Krishna consciousness. Vachravegam, Manasa, Krodavegam. He has to have control of the senses and know the science of Krishna consciousness. So one should first examine the Guru. When Lokanath Das Goswami came to Vrindavan, he wanted to take initiation from Lokanath. No, that was Narottam Das Thakur came to Vrindavan. He wanted to take initiation from Lokanath Das Goswami. But Lokanath Das Goswami had made a vow never to take any disciples. So, although Narottam asked him to initiate him, he said, "No, I'm not going to initiate you because I made this vow." So Narottam Das stayed with Lokanath and rendered menial service to him for 1 year. And when Guru Maharaj realized that this person was doing menial service for him, then he finally agreed to initiate him. So he was, it says that one should be meek and humble. One should not be overly proud. One should not be proud, but one should inquire submissively so he can make advancement in Krishna consciousness. So that's the freedom from doubt and delusion. It says, facts should not be misrepresented. According to social convention, it said that one can speak the truth. We're talking about truthfulness. Truthfulness means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. According to social convention, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. Truth should be spoken in a straightforward way, so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief, and people are warned that he's a thief, that's the truth. So although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the truth, the facts, be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That's the definition of truth. So when you go to court, if you have to have a witness stand, so you have to put your hand on the Bible and swear that you're telling the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Sometimes we can discriminate. Sometimes speaking the truth about someone, it will be unpalatable. We may not want to speak it. But Prabhupada, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he spoke the truth about his god brothers. And of course most of them have left the planet, they're not on the planet anymore. But he said that they didn't follow the orders of their spiritual master. They disobeyed the orders of Bhaktisiddhanta. Told them that no one should be the next Acharya, that they should form a governing body commission like we have, GBC, and spread Krishna consciousness, work cooperative together to spread Krishna consciousness. But they didn't do that. They decided one man would be the Acharya, and that man ended up falling down and going away, leaving Krishna consciousness. And this went on, kept going on, and slowly they factioned off. So Prabhupada called it a schism, that they had deviated from the orders of Bhaktisiddhanta. So Prabhupada would disclose it by writing in Chaitanya Charitamrita, to give a warning to his disciples that the same thing may not happen. But he put it there for our benefit, and he wasn't criticizing. It says here to call a thief is not criticism. So he's simply speaking the truth about what happened. But Prabhupada said many things, but he told his secretary, Harisari, that he shouldn't print those things. Prabhupada may have said some other things, but he didn't want them to be printed, that they shouldn't be disclosed to everyone. But we can understand that the truth, if someone wants to know the truth, then you tell them. If there's some things that are truthful, but you don't want to speak it, then you can remain silent. But either case, truthfulness is one of the qualities of a devotee. So, actually, Mother Earth, she can't bear the weight of a liar. So, even it says during the month of Kartik, one thing you should do, in the month of Purushottam, you not speak a lie. And when Balkuchetra, Krishna said to Yudhisthira, you tell Dronacharya that Ashwatthama is dead. So Yudhisthira was a saintly person, king. He never spoke a lie in his life. So he hesitated. And then Bhima came along with a dart, killed an elephant named Ashwatthama. And then Maharaj Yudhisthira said, Ashwatthama is dead. And then he said, the elephant. And Dronacharya didn't hear that, because Dronacharya was undefeatable, and he would not stop fighting unless he heard some bad news. So as soon as he heard that his son Ashwatthama was dead, he stopped fighting, went into samadhi, and then he cut off his head. So this example, that because Krishna ordered him to speak this, he should have done it, but he hesitated. So his chariot touched the ground, and he had to see hell momentarily, because he didn't follow Krishna's instructions. So whatever the spiritual master tells you to do, or should follow it. Now, control of the senses means that the senses should not be used for an unnecessary personal enjoyment. There's no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses be restrained from unnecessary use. So, Vachavegam, Manasakroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam. So the tongue, it says the tongue is most voracious and difficult to control of all the senses, because the belly may be full, but the tongue is saying, eat more, eat more. If you eat more and eat too much at one time, then you'll get sick in Vrindavan, for sure. In other parts of the world you may not, but in Vrindavan you have to be very careful not to eat too much, or not to eat at the wrong time, or not to eat the wrong things, because you're going to get trouble. So it's living in Vrindavan is not so easy. Control the senses means we only eat Krishna prasadam. We don't eat anything. Prabhupada warned we shouldn't eat in the market. We shouldn't eat food cooked by non-devotees. If you eat grains cooked by non-devotees, you will get a reaction and makes your mind wicked. And today, the idea of sense control is not known in any part of the world. Even in India now, because people can't control their senses, the tailors don't have a measuring to measure a person. They can't measure a person with the tailor, with the what's that called, measuring measurement. They can't take a person's measurement because they're too fat. And we see this every day, that people become like whales, and they're triple the size they should be. So the tailors can't measure them because their measuring instruments aren't big enough. And they can't ride an airplane because they need 2 seats. They can't sit on 1 seat. And so many things. And you see this every day. So many people come to the temple and everybody's becoming 3-4 times overweight and fat because they can't control their senses. That they're constantly eating junk food and think that they're not eating prasadam. But they're eating everything and everywhere and at any time. And this makes them fat. So devotee says, so Rupa Goswami says that if a person is becoming fat, he's not making advancement, it's a sign, a bad sign, and easy living and Krishna consciousness go ill together. So we have to control our tongue and only eat Krishna prasadam at the regulated times. If you're not hungry and there's a feast, then you shouldn't eat it. Even though your mind is telling you should eat, you shouldn't eat even if you're not hungry. So eat when you're hungry and not eat more than required to fill for the maintenance, so to keep body and soul together. The 6 Goswamis were in full control of their senses. They conquered over Ajahara, they conquered over eating and sleeping. Raghunath Das Goswami would only sleep 90 minutes a day. He didn't sleep in Bhagavatam class or Bhagavad-Gita class, and he only took 1 cup of chach, buttermilk, which is the byproduct when they churn the butter to make ghee. They get butter out of the yogurt. Chach, he took 1 cup of chach every other day. But we can't do that, but we should minimize our eating and sleeping as long as we're trying to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. It's very helpful to minimize our eating and sleeping. So therefore the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called sama. One not spend one time pondering over earning money. That is the misuse of thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings and should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters, those whose thinking is highly developed. So the mind is the best friend. The controlled mind is the best friend. Uncontrolled mind is our enemy. So we should not, if you're lucky, you can stay in the brahmacharya ashram. Then you don't have to, it says here, to ponder the mind for making money. That is grihastha ashram. That you have to get money somehow or other. Beg, borrow, steal. Get money. Because you have some expenses. If one stays a brahmachari, he doesn't have to ponder over, think about getting money. Everything's taken care of. So before getting married, one should consider this point, that we should only, Mama Baba told Krishna says, always think of me. So if we're thinking about other things, we're deviating from Krishna consciousness. And family life is troublesome, and it causes one to deviate from thinking. Makes it difficult to think about Krishna. Because you get a job, you have to get a job, you have to work with non-devotees, and so the advancement of a household is very slow or next to nil. Sukham, pleasure or happiness, should always be, and that which is favorable for cultivation of spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. Anything favorable for the development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted. Anything unfavorable should be rejected. So one lady was bringing water at Srivas Thakur's house every day, and Lord Chaitanya asked what was this lady's name. Her name was Sukha, which means unhappiness. So Lord Chaitanya changed her name to Dukkha, which means happiness. And from that day on, Lord Srivas Thakur didn't consider this lady his maidservant. So this is nature in the material world. Pleasure, happiness, and distress, pain, pleasure are there, but can't avoid it. But we should accept only that which is favorable for development of Krishna consciousness, and reject anything which is unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. This is one of the 6 items of full surrender. So whatever we're doing, we should ask ourselves, is this the favorable for Krishna consciousness? If it is, we should do it. If it's not, then we should reject it. So everything favorable is practicing Krishna consciousness, attending the morning program, chanting 16 rounds, hearing the Bhagavatam class. Everything unfavorable, it goes against those things, is unfavorable. Not chanting, not coming to the programs, keeping your hair. Prabhupada wanted everyone to be clean-shaven. He didn't accept any excuses why people should keep their hair. Everyone should have a clean-shaved head, no beards, no mustache. But this younger generation, they like to keep their hair. But it's Krishna consciousness means we're clean-shaven. We're clean because cleanliness is next to godliness. So we shave our heads so we can be clean, not just for show, but it's necessary because Prabhupada wanted it, and it's a sign of devotee. In India, you don't have to be embarrassed to have a shaved head. Other parts of the world, if people have to go to work with non-devotees, then they can't shave their head because people won't accept it. If you have a Sikha, if they can shave their head with no Sikha, but then that's also not good. So they keep a little hair in Sikha. But for brahmacharis, sannyasis, and grihastras, they live in Vrindavan, everyone should shave their head. There's no reason to keep their hair. Bhava means birth. Birth should be understood to be the body. As far as the soul is concerned, neither birth nor death. There is neither birth nor death. That we have discussed in the beginning of Bhagavad-Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. Fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because the activities, he's sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know what their future holds. They have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated in Krishna consciousness. In that way we'll be free from all fear. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37 states, Bhayam divityam viniveshataha shata shat. Fear is caused by the absorption of illusory energy. For those who are free from the illusory energy, those who are confident they are not the body, material body, that they are spiritual parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore engage in transcendental service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. This fear is a condition of a person who is not in Krishna consciousness. Abhaya, fearlessness, is possible only for one in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada's name was Abhaya, and he said he was fearless even as a child. He climbed up to the top of one, they were building one museum, one structure in Calcutta, and Prabhupada was fearless as a child. He climbed up to the top of the structure. And so Prabhupada left Vrindavan at the age of 70, and he didn't have any money, he didn't have any contacts. He just had his order of his spiritual master that he should preach Krishna consciousness in the English world. So he went to America with 40 rupees in his pocket, and just depended on Krishna. Of course, we can't imitate, we can't do that. But somehow or other, Prabhupada was able to do that, be fearless. But as long as we think we're this body, then we can't be fearless. King Chitraketu was flying in his airplane, and he saw Mother Parvati sitting in the lap of Lord Shiva in the assembly of saintly persons. So he spoke out of amazement, that he said, "This is very wonderful. The Lord Shiva is sitting in an assembly of saintly persons and has his wife sitting on his lap." So he was speaking out of wonder, he was speaking out of amazement, not out of enviousness or to criticize Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva knew that, but Mother Parvati, she didn't know that. She thought it was an offense. That why are you criticizing Lord Shiva? So she cursed him to take the birth of the demon. So Chitraketu was flying in an airplane. He got down from his airplane and fell at the lotus feet of Mother Parvati and begged forgiveness and accepted the curse and got on his airplane and went back to his residence. So Lord Shiva said that this is the example of a devotee, Narayana Parayana Sarve, that in any condition, a devotee is in heaven or hell, he takes it as the will of providence. So being cursed or being given material opulence is, the devotee takes both things as the will of the Lord. If a devotee gets opulence, he doesn't use it wrong way for sense gratification, then it's the gift of Krishna. But if he gets a lot of money and misuses it, then it's the gift of Maya. So the devotee maybe get rich, get money, get material opulence, like Bali Maharaj got more opulence than the King of Heaven, but he didn't misuse it, he remained a devotee. Also, this is the case with Sudama Brahman. He's a very poor man, but Krishna gave him more opulence than the King of Heaven. So, we should utilize, one should know how to utilize things in Krishna consciousness, and then one will be fearless in all circumstances. So, it's not easy to be fearless, but at the same time, we should be careful. Like Prabhupada was riding in a car, and they were driving too fast. He'd always tell them not to drive so fast, slow down. Now, Prabhupada wasn't, you may think Prabhupada was fearful, but he was just a practical man, and he wanted to avoid having an accident. Because if you drive too fast, you're taking a risk that there's always a chance there will be an accident. Even if you don't drive too fast, there may be an accident. So anyway, Prabhupada knew when Indra was in trouble, he was told to go to the Dachi and begging for his bones. Dachi was a saintly, fully self-realized, and he's no one would give their who would give their bones for King Indra to make a thunderbolt to kill a demon, Vitrashura. But because the Dachi was detached from the body, he was fearless, so he agreed to give his body. So one is detached from the body, knows that he's not this body, that we're spirit soul. Even one philosopher, his name was Plato, they wanted him to drink poison. So he said, well, first you have to catch me, then you can kill me. First you have to catch me to kill me. So he actually was, Brahman realized he wasn't the body, that he was a spirit soul, and he was fearless. So fearless is not an easy thing, but because so many things in this world are fearful. But if we on the platform of Krishna consciousness, then one has to tolerate all these things that come about due to the threefold miseries, Adi Daivik, Adi Bodhik, Adi Atma. Knowing that we're not this body, that I'm a spirit soul, and whatever happens to the body, it can't affect me. People think that after death, there's nothing after death, but that's not a fact. The soul goes to, it always has a body, always has a form. Krishna has a form, we have a form. Krishna's form is Satchidananda Vigraha. Our form, we always have a form, but we may not be Satchidananda in the material world. So, this becoming detached from the body, this is the whole process, Krishna consciousness, to make us detached from the body. Bodily conception of life, come to the mode of pure goodness. So from pure goodness, then everything is revealed, then we can understand that we're not this body. But as long as we're influenced by the three modes of material nature, we'll still think we're this body, and we still try to protect this body. But Maharaj Ambarish fasted, followed Ekadasi Dwadasi for 1 year. Then Durvasa Muni came, and it was time, Durvasa Muni came at the wrong time, when it was time for him to break his fast, Ekadasi fast, Purim time. So he told Durvasa Muni, you go and take your bath, and when you come back, I'm going to feed you. So he went and took his bath, and meanwhile the time came to break the fast. The Maharaj Ambarish didn't know what to do, so he didn't know whether he should drink water or not drink water. So he consulted some Brahmins, and he decided to drink a little water, because water breaks the fast but does not break the fast. But Durvasa Muni came back, and Durvasa Muni is easily pleased, easily angered. So when he came back and realized that Maharaj Ambarish had drank some water, he considered an offense, although it was a minor thing. And he took a hair out of his head and threw it on the ground, and a big fiery demon went to attack Maharaj Ambarish. But Maharaj Ambarish was fearless. Even though the demon was coming to kill him, he didn't move an inch, because the Lord had given him the Sudarshan Chakra weapon to protect him. So he's always protected by the Lord, so he was fearless in all circumstances. So the Sudarshan Chakra killed the demon and also chased Durvasa Muni all over the universe until he came back and fell at the feet of Maharaj Ambarish, begged forgiveness. So I'm going to stop there, time is up. So he covered those different qualities: freedom from doubt and delusion, forgivingness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity. So he went up to fearlessness. Tomorrow they'll discuss non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, infamy. All these various qualities of living being are created by me alone. Ham Sabhasha Prabhavo. Krishna is the source of everything. Its qualities are coming from Krishna. And as a devotee, we should try to develop all good qualities and try to cooperate with our God brothers and the devotees, and so we'll not have any conflicts. So I'm going to stop there. Srila Prabhupada ki